Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Heritage News here in the southeast. This is your weekly update for anything in regards to heritage railways, mainline movements, steam galas and so much more. We've got a ton of news to get through as always, so let's get straight into it. So yeah, the first topic I want to go through this week is actually all to do with the old Kiln line. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's actually a 2-foot gauged steam railway based at the Rural Life Living Museum in Farnham in Surrey. Now, unfortunately, there's been a bit of bad news and potentially they are at risk of closing. So yeah, as I stated, the old Kiln line is situated at the Rural Life Living Museum in Farnham and it's a 2-foot gauge light railway. Now, they have stated they are at risk of closing by the end of this year unless the museum could come up with £150,000 to assure its future. The reasons stated are due to the rising costs, including crippling electricity charges, which has then resulted in staff redundancies and lack of maintenance to the site and the line as a whole. Now, another factor has been due to the lack of visitors to the museum and the railway in 2024, and it's due to families realistically not being able to afford it. They are looking at changing their ways and the way they operate, and they are looking at possibilities, but unless that money has materialised by the end of October, we could be seeing a new event added to the calendar and saying goodbye to the line, which has been in place since 1970 and is home to 3 steam locomotives. Now, for me, this is tragic news. This really is tragic news. Potentially a railway disappearing. I'm sure the steam locomotives will be fine come October if they can't raise those funds, and obviously they'll get moved over or find new lines to be able to operate on. Steam locomotives, there's no issue there, but the railway itself could be in major issue. And obviously the museum as a whole, you might be losing the whole museum and the railway along with it. So I think everyone sort of needs to support it, try and get behind them as much as you can. I'm not too sure if there's a fundraiser, but I'm sure they would obviously look for donations. Go out and visit the museum and the railway if you can, and just try and get those funds to them, because they sound like they're going to need it. I suppose for me, you know, you're going to have 200 railway celebration coming up next year, and obviously they've given that money to the Bluebell Railway, I stated in a previous video, all in regards to the National Lottery Fund. The National Lottery Fund, Heritage Fund, do come across this at all, this little article. £150,000 realistically to that fund, Heritage Fund wise, is nothing. So this is something realistically I think could easily be saved if a corporation like that was to get involved. Really think this needs to try and get pushed to them. But yeah, like I say, go and visit them if you can. I'm going to try and visit them by the end of October, and obviously just sort of see if there's any way we can sort of do to help and save the museum and the railway as a whole. But yeah, the old Kiln line in Farnham, Surrey, it's not looking too good. Now we're going to flip the coin on its head there and talk about something negative, and now we're going to talk about something positive, and it's all to do with a miniature railway situated in East Kent that's got pretty big ideas. So yeah, essentially the East Kent Railway have launched a fundraising appeal in order to extend the Knee Valley Woodlands 7¼ inch railway based there in Shepherdswell in the East Kent Railway. Now, it was their beer festival last weekend, so go and check that out on the channel if you want to. It was absolutely incredible event. It was really nice to see the railway busy, even if it was a 142 run up and down the line. I like them. I know a lot of people don't. But the miniature railway, the 7¼ inch, was actually closed for maintenance. Now, essentially what they're doing is they were doing sort of a fundraiser, and you could sponsor a sleeper. So for £25 you could sponsor a sleeper. You've got the drinks included there on the day, so you might get a little bit cheaper if they've put it online. I'm not too sure if they have. I think they should. And once that sleeper goes in the ground, you would then be able to have your name engraved in silver. I've donated. I've got mine done for £25. The cheeky engine, it's going to say. So if you ever visit there, you'll see that. Or there is another tier for £50. You can have your name engraved in gold. So go ahead and check them out. But they do have, like I say, some big ideas. As it stands, they want to extend the line further into the woodlands, and they want to include a turntable, a bridge and a water feature. So yeah, it's sort of flipped on its head. We've gone from a narrow gauge railway at risk of closing, and yet we've got a miniature railway in East Kent that's plenty thriving. So it's nice to have some positive news for a change in terms of the railway sector. So yeah, we're moving on to mainline news now, and it has literally only been announced today that GB Rail Freight have opened up a brand new maintenance facility in Tonbridge in Kent. So yeah, the site was actually formally opened today, and it was designed and constructed by contractor Cairncross, who built the facility, and it cost around £2.5 million. Now it's a purposely built centre for the maintenance of GB Rail Freight's classes 73, 69 and 66 fleets. Now EMD, Wabtec and St Leonard's Railway Engineering are among the companies that will be running the facility, and they're hoping that the new building will sort of make locomotive maintenance regimes in the southeast a lot more efficient. And then of course obviously you've got the site in Doncaster and Peterborough, and they are realistically hoping that this site is going to complement those other two facilities. Now they also believe that the expansion of the locomotive maintenance programme will make services more reliable, which will then drive jobs, growth and investment in the UK. And then of course obviously you do have it there at the Tonbridge. Obviously they provide railhead treatment, so essentially cleaning fallen leaves, snow and ice off the track, and so much more important jobs around here in the southeast. So thumbs up to GB Rail Freight. That's really, really positive news, and especially if you can drive the economy up, more jobs, more growth in general for the area. That facility is Tunbridge Wells West Yard is pretty amazing anyway, and now we've obviously got the GB Rail Freight maintenance in Tonbridge to complement that. I think things are really going to look up here for freight movements in the UK. But of course obviously that wasn't the only announcement Freight did make this week. So it's actually Network Rail. Now essentially they've turned around and said they're going to provide discount on track access charges across the country to help promote more freight services going forward. So yeah, the applicable charges will be fully waived for a period of 6 months as new traffic is being established. Now a single freight train, just for example, has the capacity to move up to 76 lorries from the nation's road, and the rail freight contributes to saving around 1 million tonnes of carbon annually. So Network Rail's offer, which will be available to all train operators and services meeting the qualifying criteria, is driven by the company's dedication to foster the expansion of rail freight. The value of the offer is approximately £1,000 for each train journey round trip, varying from train length and load. So GB Rail Freight's brand new maintenance facility down here in Kent, Network Rail's offer there, put those two together, I think you could really see some exciting things with more freight movements around here, especially in the southeast and obviously the surrounding areas, Doncaster, Peterborough, places like that. Sounds like they're really trying to push this, and it's going to do good for the environment. I mean, the carbon emission, you know, you're removing 76 lorries from the road. That's a huge amount of carbon emission that's not then going into the atmosphere. I mean, the 66s, I mean, there's one called the Eco Warrior anyway, and it's called that for a reason. They're really good and efficient, and obviously clean for the environment, and lot more cleaner than cars and road traffic. So thumbs up to Network Rail, thumbs up to GB Rail Freight. Sounds really positive for the main line going forward. So the next bit of news, again sticking with the main line, we're actually going to move it all the way over to the Isle of Wight, and it actually concerns the Island line. So essentially, as of next week, there's going to be maintenance going on to Ryde Pierhead to obviously preserve its future, and it's then going to be closed until summer 2025. So yeah, essentially South Western Railways have announced that the Island line will close from Ryde Pierhead all the way down to Shanklin between Friday the 6th of September and Sunday the 6th of October for vital maintenance, and then Ryde Pier will then be closed from Friday the 6th of September 2024 until May 2025, whilst they obviously go to do the life extension works on the pier itself. Now, anyone from the Isle of Wight, comment down below, let me know what you think about that. Do you think it needs more life maintenance? Obviously the life it's spent at sea, obviously they want to preserve the pier, understand why. Provides vital links to the mainland. Obviously you've got the ferries coming in, the sea cats, and obviously just general island line maintenance. I don't know, let me know what you think. Do you think this could have all been done by now? Do you think realistically it needed to be done. I'd be interested to know, coming from someone who doesn't live and obviously only visits there from time to time. But yeah, comment down below. But I can imagine it's probably going to frustrate quite a lot of people, and especially if you're closing that, ferries can't dock there, where are they going to go? Is that then obviously going to potentially affect tourism trade? I'd really like to know. Let me down below. But yeah, Ryde Pierhead going to be closed for the best part of a year. So yeah, moving on to events now. There's quite a lot coming up, really close now. A certain special event is happening right now today, and will be happening tomorrow, as well as a couple of weekends time. And of course it is the Scottish Steam Up down at the Spa Valley Railway in Tonbridge in Kent. So at Caledonian 828, the only one left of its class, is going to celebrate 125 years, having its birthday bash. So what better than to invite its best friend down? Caledonian class 419. So it's Scottish Steam Up number 2 this weekend. Really truly try and get down there if you can. I'm going to be down there tomorrow. I'm super looking forward to this one. Scottish Steam Up first one was absolutely incredible. 419 is obviously in painted black now, in its black livery, whereas obviously it was in the Caledonian blue before. Little bit of a shame, but obviously these things do change from time to time. It will still be really nice to see them both again. So if you're around in the area, even if you're not, try and get down to the railway to see them. Also, this Saturday, if you're around, Saturday the 31st of August, you're actually going to have the North Kent Model Transport Festival. So it's actually going to be held at Northfleet School for Girls. So that's normally where they hold the Gravesend Model Railway show. So yeah, it's going to be running from 10 AM till 4 PM. Now I have to admit, this wasn't really an event I've ever heard of before, but it does sound like there's going to be some quite interesting things there if you want to visit. So yeah, reading into this a little bit more and doing a bit more research into it, it actually sounds like it's going to be a fairly good day out. So essentially it's celebrating, it's a brand new one-day event as well, and it's celebrating anything in terms of transport. So you're going to have obviously the Kent Bus Association, there's going to be plenty of model railway layouts. I know Kent Gala Railway is going to be there, and from what I've read up as well, there's going to be at least a good 10 model railway layouts, so lots of railway action. You're going to have model trucks, cars, buses, planes. It sounds like it's just going to be celebrating anything in terms of transport related. So yeah, brand new one-day event. Adults £3 to get in. Sounds like a bit of a bargain. So yeah, if you're looking for something to do in the area, if the weather's quite terrible and you don't want to go to the Scottish Steam Up, maybe this might be an event to consider going to. And then of course, lastly, as I mentioned last week, obviously at the East Anglian Railway Museum, you're going to have the Chapel Beer Festival, which is annual, and of course obviously the Clacton Express will be there. Well, you want to see this latest photo of the Clacton Express, and you know, just the little touch-ups they've done, I have to admit, really plops up to them, and obviously try and go and support them if you can. But it looks stunning, as you can see on screen there now. So that's actually going to be a static display at the Beer Festival going on all this weekend if you want to try and attend the East Anglian Railway Museum. But yeah, that's all from me this week on heritage news in the southeast and surrounding areas. I really hope you've enjoyed that. Comment down below if there's anything I've missed out and anything you think I should include next week going forward. Any events that I should be aware of, anything like that, let's all comment down below. I want to hear it. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. See you guys.